Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Glott University Center for today's press conference addressing the University of North Alabama's athletic classification. Just to give you a quick rundown of our format for the press conference, we're going to hear from 5 speakers. We won't take any questions from the podium as they speak or at the end of their remarks, but first we'll begin with the president of the University of North Alabama, Dr. Ken Kitts. Then we'll hear from the Atlantic Sun Commissioner Ted Gumbart, followed by Marty Abrams, who's the President Pro Tem of the UNA Board of Trustees, Steve Pierce, who's the Chair of the UNA Board's Athletic Committee, and then finally UNA Athletic Director Mark Linder. At the conclusion of their remarks, we will then have a question and answer period for any media members in attendance, and then following that we'll have an opportunity to open up for any one-on-one interview requests. But at this time, we'd like to begin with the President of the University of North Alabama, Dr. Ken Kitts.
Thank you, Jeff, and good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to inform you that just minutes ago, the Board of Trustees for the University of North Alabama voted unanimously to accept an invitation to join the Atlantic Sun Conference. This begins our transition to Division I status in the NCAA classification structure. Now, this announcement has been a long time in coming. It concludes a process that dates back to at least 2011, when the university first articulated its desire to pursue Division I status. The subsequent discussion has had its shares of ups and downs, but the last 18 months have been a time of active and sustained re-engagement on this issue. It's difficult to convey how many hours of study have gone into this question. This is my 29th year in higher education, and I can tell you that this has been the most thoughtful, careful, and deliberative process of which I've been a part. Athletics Director Mark Linder and I have met with faculty, staff, and student leaders. We've met with trustees. We've met with community leaders and supporters of UNA athletics. Along the way, many questions have arisen, and each time they did, we'd jot them down. And I'm glad we did, because that list of questions now forms the basis for a comprehensive FAQ that we've put together on this topic. We have some hard copies of that FAQ available today, and if we run out, don't worry, it's available on the website as well. I encourage everyone to read the overview and FAQ. It will provide background on this question, help you understand the issues involved, and will give you a sense of the due diligence that we've performed through study, reflection, and consultation with experts. There you will find answers to many of the questions you might have. Can UNA be competitive at the Division I level? Yes. Can we afford this transition without diverting resources from other parts of the university? Again, yes. Will this move enhance our academic profile? Again, the answer is an emphatic yes. So please, my strongest encouragement to read the FAQ for detail on these and many other questions ranging from travel to community impact of the move to the timeline for this transition. Now, much has been made of the fact that resolution of the D1 issue has been one of my job targets as president. That's true, but make no mistake that this question is much larger than Ken Kitts, and it's larger than Lion Athletics. This is a question about our institutional identity at UNA. And if I could speak on a personal level for a moment, I've learned so much throughout this process. I've learned about this university that my family and I now call home, and about its people and its aspirations. I've learned about the world of our student athletes and the championship tradition in Lion Athletics. I've learned about the dynamics of intercollegiate athletics and the politics of conference affiliations. But even as I was learning, I always knew that ultimately I would need to identify a preferred option and bring a recommendation to our Board of Trustees. And the more information I looked at, the clearer that answer became. My wife, Dina, with us today, is a wonderful sounding board for me, and she cares deeply about this university and about our students. And as Dean and I would talk late into the night, we kept coming back to a simple question. How can we celebrate successes and talk about different parts of our university attaining that next level of excellence without accounting for athletics, which is the one part of the organization for which the next level has a very literal meaning, Division I. Many institutions aspire to D1 status, but of course the necessary step involves securing an invitation from a conference at that level. So when we found out that the ASUN was working on a partnership in football with the Big South Conference, our interest was piqued. We put out some feelers and entered into discussions with ASUN Commissioner Ted Gumbart. Ted turned out to be an extraordinary partner for us. Ted, thank you for your support and guidance. Fortunately, the interest proved to be reciprocal. Fit is everything in life, and we're confident that we found the right conference home for UNA. There are many factors that make the ASUN appealing to us, but one that deserves special mention is the conference's tradition of bringing Division II institutions up and helping them navigate the transition to Division I. We're proud to be joining the ranks of the ASUN. In closing, none of us would be standing here today were it not for the work of key individuals who have kept this process moving. This has been a labor-intensive exercise, and I'm grateful to my office staff and to my colleagues on the UNA Executive Council. One of those administrators deserves special commendation, and that is Athletic Director Mark Linder. Mark is a man of quiet dignity and passion for UNA and passion for our students. And I wish to thank him for his excellent work in building an athletics program where expectations are high, championships are the norm, and there's confidence about our ability to compete at the next level. Thanks go also to members of the UNA Board of Trustees, two of whom you'll be hearing from shortly, for giving so freely of their time on this issue and for the tough questions they ask along the way. We're better because of those questions. Finally, our gratitude goes out to community leaders, many of whom are in attendance today, for their encouragement and expressions of support. We have the community support to succeed. We have the faculty and staff talent to succeed. And we have 7,492 of the finest students you'll ever meet. Our students love UNA, and through their love for this institution, they will help us succeed. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our time to roar at the University of North Alabama. And today, we're roaring more loudly and proudly than ever before. And with that, it's my pleasure to invite Commissioner Ted Gumbart to the podium to speak on behalf of the ASUN.
Well, thank you all very much and welcome. Suspense-wise, I don't think there was much question as to what might be going on here today. And when the curtain opened, that made it official that we knew that there was a partnership. And we're very glad to be here. The excitement is two-way. A partnership is only successful and strong and sustainable if it's equally important to both sides and equally supported. And that's the case here for the ASUN and this new partnership with UNA. I want to welcome not only you who are here with us in the facility here, but we have a worldwide audience through ESPN. This is being broadcast live on ESPN3, a partner of the ASUN and now a partner of UNA that helps us broadcast. So one of the discussions about the brand and getting the message out and that this platform will be a benefit to UNA, it already is. So welcome to the ESPN viewers, and we're proud to give a little bit of information about the ASUN. You all know an awful lot about UNA, and I learned an awful lot about UNA the last 18 months as well. Learned that it has great leadership. I learned that they're trustworthy. Mark Linder knew a lot of things about what the ASUN might be working on before some of our folks did, and that was because it involved some developments with UNA. So I know that they're trustworthy and good folks to work with. And I do know that they're graduating champions. We're very proud of the fact that in the ASUN, 70% of our student athletes earn honor roll status by posting a 3.0 or better. And when we posted those numbers against UNA and incorporated their numbers into our conference grid, that number went up. So congratulations. We've done our job as well. It's not just facilities. It's not just championships. It's not just the people. But it's the academics and what the institution represents to make a good partnership. One thing I want to do is tell you a little bit about the ASUN. The logos you see and the pins we're wearing are all part of a branding campaign we started in April of last year was our launch. We came up with Students First as our first beam in the ASUN. We don't have pillars, we have beams. And Students First translated into the students being the group that first launched that logo. They were the ones that had a hand in designing it. They had a hand in picking the colors. They had a hand in determining the shape and size of what would be on their uniforms. That group, the students, is the only group that every one of them wears that mark, and we wanted them to be part of it. And if part of the branding campaign was Students First, well, it made sense. Who should release that? So they did a social media campaign, and they were the ones that launched it, and that was outstanding. And we've since integrated the students into a lot of our business. They're on committees, they're on governing bodies, and in fact, I had a conversation with our SAC president and our vice president yesterday to give them the news of what was happening here today. So they knew first, and that's right, if we're students first. Our other three beams are impact, connect, and rise. And those are three things that to the ASUN are very important. We want to have an impact. We want to innovate, we want to be new, we want to make a difference, and one of those things was putting a partnership together. That partnership on football is what made this overall university and conference partnership possible. If we couldn't accommodate your football program, the rest of what we offer was incidental. It had to be the full package. And when we made that Big South agreement, that's what really kicked this off. And I want to thank the Big South, Commissioner Kyle Calander, and their institutions all saw fit that this partnership we made was signed off on by every CEO in both conferences. And I don't know if you've worked a lot within institutional confines, but if we get that many presidents to sign something, it must have been a pretty good idea. So we want to have an impact, and we're always looking for new and different things and want to be leaders. We also want to connect. That connection is things that all universities that are being responsible with their students do. They connect with the students, and they want the students to connect with the community, and they want that connection to be lifelong. We have a Building Winners for Life is one of our words that we used. Now with the new campaign, we've shortened it. We know it has to be easy to tweet and hashtag, and now the ASUN, if we put that hashtag in, it says, "We can." We can. So when they talk about, hey, can you get a football school into your conference? We can. Can you do that even though you don't have football as one of your sports? We can. Can we do it live on ESPN? Yes, we can. So that's something we're proud of. And the Rise actually is printed on the same brochure that the Lions have put out today, Rise and Roar. And that's about being better, improving and growing. And this is an institution that's growing, and we're a conference that's growing, and we feel like it's a great fit, that we see things with the same values, and we see things that it's students first. When people ask me what I do for a living, I first tell them I'm in higher education. You say, really? Were you a professor? I said, no, I operate at a conference at the Division I level of the NCAA, and we support the institutional mission in educating those young people. So again, I have an opportunity, I believe, later today to talk to some of the students, and that is the most important thing we do, is to let them know we support them in their education. And if you don't get your degree, then we just had a pretty nice recreational activity and you probably enjoyed your games. But if you don't have a diploma that for the rest of your life will say, yes, I was a student and I got my degree at UNA, then we haven't finished the deal. And that's part of our responsibility as well. So it's with great pleasure that at this time I want to officially announce and shake this man's hand that we welcome University of North Alabama as the 9th member of the ASUN Conference. I have one short announcement, and then I'll give my closing statement. But part of what we do is try to get students integrated into the ESPN productions on campus. We have a team on every campus that produces games that go straight to ESPN. It's been a great advertising agent. It's been a great promotional tool. It's a great recruiting tool, but it's also a great educational tool for the students on campus that get to produce and put ESPN on their resume. And today, we had a chance to incorporate some high school folks. And today's production, Director Eddie Forsyth and Will Corey and Randy Bruce and the national award-winning Florence High School students are helping us with the broadcast today. So thank you all for being part of our production. Thanks, folks. And on behalf of our student athletes, our coaches, who have such an enormous impact on those young lives as they recruit them, coach them, and track their academic progress, the faculty that get them in the classroom and develop bonds throughout the college years, and on behalf of the administrators and staff and our President's Council, which voted unanimously to take this action, welcome to your conference, Roar Lions.
Now we're going to hear from three other people who had key roles in this process. First, Marty Abrams, the President Pro Tem of the UNA Board of Trustees. He'll be followed by Board Member Steve Pierce, and then our Athletic Director, Mark Linder.
Thank you, Jeff. On behalf of our Board of Trustees, everyone is here over here, and Steve, I want to thank all of you for being here today. This is a great crowd and certainly shows the support and love all of you have for UNA and our athletic program. I especially want to thank Ted Gumbart and his staff from the Atlantic Sun Conference for having the confidence in the University of North Alabama to extend us an invitation to join your conference. We will work hard to be sure that we're a good ASUN member, and we appreciate your willingness to invest a lot of time and effort and energy as we transition successfully from our great D2 program to NCAA D1. Lou Holt said, "If what you did yesterday seems big, you haven't done anything today." Well, no one can say that about the University of North Alabama today. I view the ASUN invitation that our athletic program received comparable to our recent prestigious accreditation of like our College of Business. And only 5% of universities got that designation in our College of Business. I'm extremely proud, but like it, this invitation signifies an important and historical milestone of achievement for our entire university. The move to D1 and the ASUN Conference will benefit all of us, not just our student athletes and athletic staff. The University of North Alabama will be able to take advantage of the additional branding opportunities that Ted mentioned today. They're made available to us through the move to D1 and ASUN and its affiliation with the Big South Conference for our men's football. The branding and promotion through major programming networks such as ESPN and social and print media could be worth millions of dollars for this university. It's been proven that if properly utilized, such branding can greatly help recruitment and enrollment in our future. Our Board of Trustees is also excited about the higher academic standards that are mandated for all NCAA Division I universities. Our student athletes have a history of excellence, not only on the field, but also in the classroom. We're confident that this will continue and we will see superior performance in the classroom from our student athletes. Thank you again for all of you being here today. We're counting on all of you in the Shoals and our alumni and friends to keep supporting UNA's athletic program. Roar Lions.
Wow, it's finally here. I look around this room and I see a lot of people that had a huge part in making this happen. You know, very few times in one's life do they get to be part of a decision that's transformative like this is for this university. And 10 years from now, when we look back at it, we're all going to look back and say, wow, look where we are now. You know, it's just amazing to see the support that has come from this. A lot of times, this word kind of got out the last few days on social media, and just like social media, there was some misinformation put out there, and because of the confidentiality agreements that we had, I wanted to say, no, you're wrong, this is what's about to happen, but I didn't. I kept to myself. But you know, I read a quote one time from Tuscumbia native and our American hero Helen Keller, where she said, what a shame it was to have sight, yet no vision. We're here today because of UNA and the vision that we've set forth. I, like Marty, would like to thank all the Board of Trustees that have voted to put this unanimous vote earlier to make this move. But I'd be remiss if I didn't look back at the previous Board of Trustees back in 2011 that made the decision to pursue Division I athletics. In addition, I'd like to thank President Kitts for his leadership. I will tell you one thing that you'll get out of this today, believe this or nothing, we wouldn't be here today if it weren't for Dr. Kitts' leadership, and I believe that with all my heart. I'd also like to thank, I see a few of them out here right now, a group of donors who believed in this vision and were willing to give generously to make it happen. And there were times, I'll be honest with you, there were times when it had been easy for them to bow out because of the delays and the detours that we've had to take to get to where we are. But they kept giving, and they stuck with the dream. I'd also like to thank Ted Gumbart, the commissioner of the ASUN, for believing in us and allowing us to be part of this great conference. One of the things that I was asked to address today was the economic impact to the community and the quality of life of this move. I see a lot of city council members, and I understand, I think maybe even you might have canceled your work session, Dick, and that's a big deal when you do that, to come be a part of this and show your support of this. You know, it's just great. Based on the study that was done in 2012, UNA has contributed a $280 million annual economic impact to the Shoals area. Most of the schools that have made this move have increased their enrollment between 11 and 13%. 11% increase in enrollment would be another $30 million annually into the Shoals area. I'm like a few of you when I look out here that I'm old enough to remember when Brawley Stadium in Flowers Hall was full because of the traditional rivalries that we played. A lot of these have already made the move to Division I. Reestablishing these traditional rivalries will enhance the quality of life and re-energize our fan base. I'd like for you also to travel with me a minute to the future in the vision of UNA, and just think if what happened if we won, Bobby, I see you standing back here, if we won the ASUN conference in basketball and we played in the NCAA tournament. How many of you think this community would go crazy? It'd be simply amazing. You know, that may seem far-fetched to a lot of you, but ask ASUN member Florida Gulf Coast what they did back in 2013 when they beat Georgetown and San Diego State to make it to the Sweet 16. They were the underdog that every basketball fan in this country pulled for in that tournament. Oh yeah, by the way, I think our record's 2-0 against them, isn't it, Bobby? It's now my pleasure to be able to introduce Mark Linder, our athletic director. Mark has taken this vision literally, and I told some people earlier, from the back of a napkin when this first started, with all the numbers on it, to where we are today. Mark has been the driving force researching everything to where we are today and putting together plan after plan after plan to make this dream come a reality. Let me now present to you our athletic director, Mark Linder.
What a great day for UNA. North Alabama is a special place, and I had been traveling over the last couple of days, and on the way back, just had time to reflect. And start talking about our past and the tradition and what we owe those that came before us, this is an amazing place. And so what has happened today is I believe it's a moment in time that we'll all look back at and say this was transformational. When we look back and we say we built upon the legacy of the Jones, we built upon the legacy of the Flowers, and we built upon the legacy of the Selfs. You know, those names mean something in our athletic department. They mean something within our community. And today's is one of those moments in time where we're going to look back and say we built upon that tradition and we did it well. And so I'm just thrilled to be a small part of that moment. When we talk about transformation, when we're talking about academic transformation, we're talking about athletic transformation, we're talking about community transformation. This is a decision that has been made by our board, which we really appreciate, Trustee Abrams, that you believe in our department enough to do this, that we can be a small part to help this university get its brand out and tell about all the great things that we do in the classroom and on the field of competition. So we do want to honor our past. And I believe Steve spoke about the donors in 2011 who stepped up with our advisory board for Division I and gave considerable amount of money. And the Circle of Champions, those individuals that said we believe in the vision of going Division I back in 2011. We are here and we're able to do this well because of your support then, and we thank you for being dedicated in us, and we thank you for supporting us and believing in the vision. I was able to speak to our staff today at 2 o'clock, and this is an emotional day. There's been a lot of work, a lot of readiness to happen for this time, and I didn't want to miss an opportunity to talk to our staff, and I see that they're sitting over here. They have positioned us to do this. When you look at our GPA as a department, and we boast a 3.07 GPA with 300 plus student athletes, and you look at the effort that they put in to investing in the lives of their students, that they are difference makers for this campus, they are difference makers for this community. And I wanted to have a private moment with them to tell them thank you. When you look at 2016, I don't want to put a jinx on Coach Wallace, and he don't want me to say this, but when you start looking at being 2 wins away in football, and then you look at the calendar year of 2016, this university could boast of 2 national championships. But we did that with a 3.07 GPA. And we did it with an announcement to go Division I. That doesn't happen through one person. That happens through a community of what I call UNA believers, from the Board of Trustees to our donors, to our staff, to the student athletes. It takes a community, and we're here today because of all your hard work, and so I appreciate everybody who is here today. Faith in our future. Commissioner, we will work hard to represent you well. I can guarantee you that. We do talk about graduating champions, and it is our culture to graduate champions. And I say graduating champions because we talk about that in athletics an awful lot. But I believe it's the culture of our university. We graduate champions every single day. I'm looking at one right now. Sarah Green, who is our SGA president, she's a champion. And when she graduates, she's going to be a difference maker in life. That's what we do here at the University of North Alabama. And so I'm privileged to be in higher education. I don't take it lightly. And so, Commissioner, we will work hard to represent your conference, our conference, very well. We have 18 months to gear up. Fall of 2018 will be here quickly. It will be here fast, and we have already started planning. You know, we've talked about budget models, all right, and the university has been very good to support athletics in the past, and they're committed to doing so in the future. But to make this go as well as we want, we have got to get sources from external constituents. We're going to need your help. In fact, I want to use this platform to announce that we have 2 donors that have put up $400,000 to match. And so you will be hearing from us to see if we can get to that goal, because we do need your help in getting us to funding at a high, high level. When we start talking about this move, it is about excellence and it is about impact. And I think athletically and academically, it's going to be excellent for us, for our university. And I think it's going to have a tremendous impact for our community, both on campus and off campus. I appreciate your time. Dr. Kitts, I thank you for your leadership. And I guess all I have to say is Roar Lions.
At this time, we'll take a couple of minutes for any question and answers from the news media. We have a floor mic right here, so if you'd raise your hand, we'll get the mic to you, and if you'd just identify yourself and who your question is directed to.
I guess this question is for Dr. Kitts, but I've talked to a lot of students, and their main question is, are we going to get a stadium? Was going to ask you, are we going to get any new facilities here at the university?
I'll be happy to start with that one, and Mark Linder might have some additional comments. Our entry into the ASUN is not preconditioned on agreement to build any new facilities. Our facilities are adequate. Some of our facilities are aging. They're in need of some modernization and a little love. And I think that would have been the case were we to remain Division II. I think that it will be easier to confront those questions with a re-energized fan base because of the move into the ASUN and Division I. Brawley Stadium is one of those questions that we have about the future viability of that facility. We're under contract to play at Brawley through 2022. We're currently looking at the condition and the status of Brawley and trying to make the best decisions we can going forward.
Mark, just talk about the coaching situation. How will it affect them? Of course, you're going into a new area. It's going to be tough competition. Will you make long-term contracts for them, and will they salaries be adjusted to to the level they're going into?
The question about our coaching staff, once again, I'm very serious that we're at this point in time because of our coaching staff and their investment into our student athletes and buying into our culture of graduating champions. And so Dr. Kitts and myself have already met with our head coaches. And when we start the transition in fall of 18, all right, we're committed to a long-term contract with these coaches that would be on staff at that point in time to make sure that, number one, we are committed to meeting the APR standard at Division I, and also making sure that we're not violating rules and get a good basis of NCAA compliance underneath of us. Obviously, it's going to be very difficult in year 1 and 2 when we start competing against the Division I ranks, and we make no bones about that. It's going to be difficult. We talked a little bit about the explorers that go out and start hiking Mount Everest. They know it's going to be a challenge. All right, but you have to know that going in, and you have to take it with a positive attitude that these things can be overcome. And so I think what we'll do contractually is we'll protect them, and we'll start expecting in year 3 and year 4 to start seeing an improvement in the wins and losses.
Any other questions?
Another question for you, Mark. Can you address the scholarship allotment and how that could change with this transition?
Right. Right now, as a university, we support our athletic department with right around 121.2 scholarships, equivalencies, if you will. With this transition and to be competitive in all of our sports, we need to get that number up to 180. And so that's the difference of what we will shoot for and get to by fall of 22. And that's in the budget model, and we feel confident that we will get there. It's always been, not to, probably should just stop because you quit, you quit writing. And it's always been a personal philosophy that if you can give your coaches scholarships, even if your facilities aren't the best, but if you can give them scholarships to go out and recruit, you can be very successful. And I think we see that already here at the Division II ranks.
For Ted, 9 members seems to be an odd number. Are there future plans to expand the ASUN more?
Well, being from higher education, I think we can go to the math department that 9 is definitely an odd number. What I would say about expansion is it's always on our agenda. We want to make sure the membership is strong. And we've forged a number of new partnerships that there's new ways to provide the security that we want for all of our members. So we spoke a little bit about this process. We wanted to be transparent and open. It's about both of us learning about each other. And my job at that level is protecting the 8. They have certain interests that's the membership. My job's to protect that. They have access to tournaments. They have access to automatic bids. They have a certain allocation of revenue they get. They get scheduling, awards and championships. So now we're asking them to share that. And they take that very seriously, and our presidents don't want members, they want partners. And so from that standpoint, we will look, and if there is a partner that'll make us stronger and will benefit the 9, then we're certainly open to entertaining new members. It's not a must. We've got partnerships in swimming and women's lacrosse and men's lacrosse and football, and we believe that we will be able to provide whatever championship opportunities and AQ opportunities that our institution's student athletes deserve. But there's no push that says it has to be 10 because that's better for basketball scheduling, or it's got to go to 11 because that's better for baseball scheduling, or anything like that. We feel very strongly that our job is to protect now the 9 members. And I'll take my orders from the presidents. If they feel like there's rationale to move ahead, we are definitely open to it and always exploring the landscape from that standpoint. But there's not anything that is imminent or that has to be done on short notice. But we're very pleased to celebrate UNA's membership today.
Any other questions? If not, that'll conclude the formal portion of our press conference. Again, the media members will be glad to assist you with any one-on-one interviews. We have the majority of our athletic staff is seated over here to my left. We also have student athletes here. We have faculty and staff members, board members, so we'll be happy to assist you with those. Also, for the media members, we have a press kit for you with the official release we'll give you before you leave. And also, before we let the people at the head table get away, I believe we have a cake that they want to cut in commemoration of this event.
All right. Congratulations, you did it. Dale. Get out there. I wish you did.
forever looking forward.
We're committed to progress and a bright future.
Together we shine.
We elevate student athletes to create a better world.
Blaze the path.
Undaunted, we challenge norms.
To enlighten and innovate.
It's a new day.
For no matter the height of our obstacles,
they will never block the sun. We can.
Connect.
Put student athletes first.
Impact.
Rise.
every day.